Welcome to the Elevated Woman's Podcast, your guide to optimal health and confidence. I'm Dr. Ade Akindipe, family nurse practitioner and women's health coach. I help women in midlife reset their bodies and reclaim their confidence. So this is the place where real talk meets real solutions. No quick fixes, no fluff, just the tools, strategies, and stories you need to break free from stubborn weight gain, balancing your hormones, and stepping into your healthiest self yet. Whether you're navigating perimenopause, menopause, or simply just tired of feeling like your body's working against you, then you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Okay, ladies, so this particular topic is very important for any woman that's navigating perimenopause or hormonal imbalance in general, and you're stuck with weight. So again, we'll go back to my story. If you listen to episode 1, I talked about how I struggled with weight gain and weight loss. So there was a point when I had tried everything and I was literally stuck, working out really hard, cutting back on calories, and things were just not moving along. Now, we've heard about the GLP medications. These medications curb your appetite, things like Wegovy, Mounjaro, and the likes. So I had the opportunity to try this for weight loss because we knew that this medications will help with weight loss. That was one of the side effects of these medications. They're not actually very new. They've been around for some time. There's an oral version of it too, but these are injectable medications. You inject in your stomach area and it's supposed to help curb your appetite. So I did try this for about 4 months. It definitely worked, but for me, it really caused a lot of side effects. I wasn't able to be on it for very long, but it definitely curbs your appetite. People say it kind of gives you that, it clears that sound, the noise, the food noise in your head that you're constantly thinking about food. It's just, especially for people that just are constantly craving sugary foods or to just want to eat all the time. So it definitely does that. The problem is, though, sometimes if you are not careful, you can go without eating and not really realize it. So anyway, I did lose some weight on this and I had to come off of it due to side effects. But one thing I noticed, though, from caring for women who are on GLP support for weight loss, they focus on numbers going down on the scale. One of the big things I encourage women to do is start with a body composition, especially if you're going to be on GLP medications for support. Why? The reason is because you are not eating, right? And we've talked a lot about why your muscles really are your organs of longevity. So it's important for you to maintain that muscle mass so that you can be strong and live longer and be able to carry groceries when you're 60, right? But the problem is if you're on GLP medications and you're not eating, you risk losing a lot of muscle. And actually, you end up being not as healthy as you were before you started the medication. So I recommend starting with a body composition every single time. Why do you want to start with a body composition? A body composition, and there's so many different kinds. We have one in our clinic that we use to kind of see where you're at. So it'll check more than just your weight and your BMI. It looks at your percent body fat. How much fat do you have relative to your whole entire weight? It looks at water, how much water you have on you. So if you're someone that struggles with maybe inflammation or maybe heart problems, it'll see if you actually have more fluid on you, because sometimes weight can be from water weight. It looks at your bones too, how much bones and muscles you have on you. So your weight is made of a lot of different factors, right? So anything that's dropping on the scale doesn't necessarily mean you're losing fat. So what we want to do is look at, are you losing percent body fat? Are you losing visceral fat, which is belly fat? So from month to month, what we do is we look at our patient's muscle mass. Is it staying the same or is it going down? Because women will come to me all the time and say, well, when I was 25, I weighed about 110. Never have I been over 120 pounds. Now I'm 130 pounds and I want to get back to what I was. And this is where I pause and I tell them and I say, well, why do you want to go back to the weight you were years ago? Well, that's where I felt great. And this is where the shift starts to happen for women. I say, well, do you really want to go back to that? This is where you are right now. What would that body look in this new body in your 40s or 50s, right? Maybe you were leaner. Maybe you were a runner. Maybe that's just what your body needed at that time. So I always ask women, what do you think your body needs right now? Right? As you're getting older, we know that you're losing hormones, you're losing estrogen, you're losing progesterone. And unfortunately, muscle decline happens with that. So when you were 20s and you had high levels of those hormones and now you don't, you see why that can't really be the same. So we need to treat our bodies differently because of the changes that happen as you get older. Now, I say older, but it doesn't mean weaker. Your body is just different than it was back then. So we need to fuel the body differently than we did when you were 20. We need to look at nutrition, exercise differently than when you were 20. So if you're on a GLP medication and you're getting support there, it's going to curb your appetite. But if you're not careful, that muscle mass declines. So how do we combat that? We need to make sure that the nutrition that you're doing is supporting what you're doing. So if you're eating less and you are exercising a lot, you may lose weight, but you may actually look really, really sick. So you're losing your muscle mass. Maybe visceral fat isn't going down, or maybe it is, right? But you might end up weaker, less energy. So what is a good way to start? If you want that support with a GLP, starting baseline with your labs, right? So looking at your labs, that's why sometimes when folks go to clinics or online places that don't look at the full picture, it can be very dangerous. If you're getting a vial of GLP medications online, and I'm not knocking any particular place, but always ask this question. Think about it. If the medication that you get from, like your Wegovy and things like that are over $1,000 and you're getting a vial for $50, and I don't know what the prices are, but the cheaper medication doesn't necessarily mean you're getting quality, right? That's number one. Number two, who is monitoring you while you're on that? Very, very important. Is someone checking your body composition? And if they're not, are you getting one? You should always make sure that you are checking your body composition. Your muscle mass should not be rapidly declining. Now, it's not unusual to see a dip in it. Even if you're not on a GLP, it's not unusual to see that. But never should you just be losing muscle and fat staying the same. You're just going to end up being very unhealthy. You're not getting healthy. You might be losing weight, but you're losing the wrong type of weight. Does that make sense? So body composition, labs, looking at your thyroid, looking at your hormones, looking at your cortisol. Where can we tweak? Where can we optimize? And then marrying that with lifestyle. That means strength training, nourishing your body with proteins, healthy fibers, healthy fats, healthy carbs, right? Maybe even getting on a CGM. We talked about a continuous glucose monitor in the previous episode to see what might be spiking your blood sugars, right? So it's a combination of all of this. But this episode, really, I wanted to focus on strength training, whether you're on a GLP or not. Ladies, if you are someone that has never done any strength training, that's totally fine. And I don't mean that you have to go into the gym and be a bodybuilder or lift super heavy. You can start with just body weights. Body weight, using your body weight to do squats, lunges, wall push-ups, wall sits, something to help to tell your body you're trying to build muscle, because we know that muscle declines, right? You don't want to be in your 50s, 60s and beyond, and you start to really struggle. It'll also help reduce inflammation. Muscle building, strength training reduces inflammation. It'll help improve those joints so you're not getting stiff and feel like, yes, you are aging, but it shouldn't slow you down, right? So the important things I want you to focus on, if you're listening to this episode and you are on the journey, maybe you're on a GLP or maybe you're not, focus on nutrition, okay? If you are looking for something to help you curb your appetite, you don't necessarily have to reach for GLPs, but focusing on foods that help stimulate GLP. Because what is a GLP? GLP basically, it's something that we naturally produce in our bodies, actually. Unfortunately, all the bad things we've put in our bodies over the years probably have killed off a lot of it, but it's something that naturally it's supposed to turn on and off. We have hormones like ghrelin that stimulates hunger, and we have leptin that stimulates satiety, feeling full. So at some point you should feel full. So if you focus on foods that are healthy, that are not processed, that raise your insulin so much, you should feel pretty steady throughout the day, right? If you're eating meals throughout the day that are nourishing you and not making you feel hungry all the time, and you're not snacking throughout the day all the time, then that should balance your blood sugar so you're not getting spikes that are keeping the weight on, right? Hope that makes sense. And if you have any other questions about this, I'm definitely available. You can book a 60-minute clarity call and we can help you get some clarity around your own personal thing. So that's one thing. So we've talked about movement, we talked about nutrition, we talked about sleep in previous episodes, but sleep really is important, especially if you're starting to lift weights too. You really need sleep to recover very well. And there's lots of different things that we do in the clinic to help support women that are looking to improve their sleep. There's lots of different peptides nowadays. I know sermorelin is one peptide that's not necessarily on the market for or a prescription, but it can be a great compounded peptide to add to your routine to help build muscle, but also can help with sleep. Of course, that's just something else that we can consider adding depending on the person. But for other things you can try, there's melatonin, of course, magnesium. Herbals can also help with sleep. What your body should be really doing is kind of settling down, going into REM, rapid eye movement sleep, so that you feel rested. Your body's able to do what it's supposed to do, which is recover and repair those muscles so that you can feel strong again to do it again the next day. So, ladies, there are many tools out there. There's medications, there's diets, but what I want you to think about is what is sustainable for you. If you're going to be on a GLP medication, before starting, think about the whole picture and know yourself. Know thyself. What is it going to look like for me if I get on this medication? I'm not trying to scare you away from the medication, but have a plan. Do you want to be on this for the rest of your life? What does it look like if you're going to be on it? How long will it take for you to get off of it? What will tapering off of it look like, right? There are times where you taper off of it. You might have to be on a really low dose for a long time while you work on those lifestyle changes. Absolutely, that's okay. But you can't go in thinking that the GLP is going to solve the problem, right? It has to be all together. So if you're going to someone that's not helping you build those strategies, or if you're not with a community, you have to have a strategy. Just have a strategy of how you're going to use this tool to get to your journey and make it sustainable for you. The elevated women's method that we use is very ideal for women that are navigating it. And sometimes, depending on where you are, you may have to be in one part of that method for longer, whether that's rewiring your brain around food, what good food is, what bad food is, why you eat the way you do. Sometimes it just takes some time to get there. But remembering that all those support things are simply what they are, support. They're not the full picture. And then body composition, they're widely available these days. You can get them online. There are cheaper versions. There are more expensive ones. In our clinic, we have the InBody, which is great, which checks different levels of data, inflammation, visceral fat, muscle mass, all of the things. You can also get a DEXA scan. That's a little bit more expensive, but DEXA scans are great because it can also check your visceral fat level, muscle mass, and a whole lot more numbers that it spits out. So I know that there's one company here in Alaska that does that. But either way, if you're looking for more than just weight loss, you're looking for energy, increasing your energy, you're looking to change your body composition, you're looking to feel more confident and fit in your clothes better, then this is what I'm talking about. That elevated woman's method is looking at that full picture, not just that 25-year-old number on the scale, okay? Not that weight that you were when you were 25. We need to elevate. We need to get past that. You're not 25 anymore. You are a beautiful 40-something, 50-something plus woman who is trying to get to where she should feel confident in her own skin. That's what we're trying to get to. Okay, that's it for this podcast. If this resonated with you, Please don't forget to share it with someone that deserves it or needs a little bit of encouragement. Just keep going. You got this. Stay elevated. I'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in to the Elevated Women's Podcast. If today's episode resonates with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend who needs this conversation too. And if you're ready to stop guessing and start thriving, head over to our website. It's listed in the show notes to learn more about our Elevated Women's Coaching Program. That's where we take these conversations deeper and create a more personalized plan for your hormones, your weight, energy, and more. Check out our show notes. I've linked free tools and cheat sheets to help you get started right away. For more daily tips and inspiration, come hang out with me on Instagram at The Elevated Woman Coach. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Thriving Over 40 with Dr. Akindipe. Until next time, stay elevated.